Imagine sitting in your living room in the year 2026. You have worked hard for over 30 years. You have saved and you have sacrificed. Your retirement account finally shows a balance of $500,000. On paper, you are doing better than most of the country. Yet, as you look at the price of groceries and insurance, you feel a deep sense of unease. The numbers are growing, but they are growing so slowly. It feels like you are pushing a massive boulder up a steep mountain. Every inch forward requires an exhausting amount of effort. You might be wondering if you will ever reach the summit of true financial freedom. You might be asking if you have started too late to see the real magic of investing. But there is a secret about wealth that very few people ever experience. It is a mathematical tipping point where the rules of money completely change. In the world of finance, the first $1 million is often described as a grueling climb. It is slow and it can feel incredibly frustrating. However, the journey from $1 million to $2 million is entirely different. It is not just another long climb. It is a high-speed acceleration that happens much faster than you think. Most people spend their entire lives fighting for the first $500,000. But they quit just as the engine is finally starting to warm up. Today, we are going to look at the cold, hard data from the last few decades. We will examine why your money is currently behaving the way it does. And I will show you the exact roadmap to go from where you are to $2 million. This is the 7-year miracle of compounding. To understand where you are going, we first have to look at why it feels so hard right now. Most investors in 2026 are stuck in what I call the contribution trap. When you start with zero, every single dollar in your account comes from your own labor. If you save $500 a month, your account grows because you worked for it. The market might go up by 10%, but 10% of a small amount is almost invisible. If you have $10,000, a 10% gain is only $1,000. That is less than 2 months of your own savings. At this stage, you are the engine and your money is just a passenger. This is why the early years of retirement planning feel like a constant struggle. You are doing all the heavy lifting while your portfolio barely seems to move. But as you reach the middle stages, something subtle begins to happen. You are approaching the first major tipping point in your financial life. This is the moment when your investments earn more in a year than you contribute. If you are saving $10,000 a year and your account hits $150,000, a simple 7% return means your money made over $10,000. Suddenly, you have a silent partner who is contributing as much as you are. The boulder is still heavy, but it is no longer just your muscles moving it. This first tipping point is where the momentum begins to build. But the real magic stays hidden until you cross the $500,000 mark. By the time you reach $500,000, the scale of the numbers changes your reality. At this level, a good year in the stock market can earn you $50,000. For many hard-working Americans, that is equivalent to a full year of salary. This is the second tipping point. It is the moment when you have effectively cloned yourself. You have one version of you going to work every day to pay the bills. And you have a second version of you made of capital that is working 24 hours a day. This digital version of you does not get tired. It does not ask for a raise and it never takes a vacation. It simply stays in the market and multiplies. In 2026, many people reach this point and feel a sense of relief. But this is also the most dangerous time for your wealth. Because when you see a large number in your account, it is tempting to slow down. It is tempting to buy the new car or upgrade the house. But if you can resist that urge, you are about to enter the most exciting phase of all. You are about to witness the jump from $1 million to $2 million. Most people assume that if it took 20 years to save $1 million, it will take another 20 to get to 2. The math proves that this is simply not true. The journey from $1 million to rewritten usually takes only 7 to 8 years. Think about that for a moment. The second million arrives in less than half the time it took to get the first. This is because you are no longer relying on your own savings to grow. You are relying on a massive base of assets that is compounding on itself. If you have $1 million invested in a diversified portfolio, and that portfolio grows at an average rate of 10% per year, your money grows by $100,000 in just 12 months. That is more growth in a single year than many people save in a decade. By the second year, you are earning 10% on $1.1 million. That is $110,000 in gains. The growth is not linear. It is exponential. It is like a snowball that has finally become large enough to pick up massive amounts of snow. Every rotation of the snowball covers more ground than the last 10 rotations combined. This is why the wealthy seem to get richer with almost no effort. They are not working harder than you are. They have simply reached the part of the curve where the math does the work. But to get there, you must understand the environment of 2026. Inflation has changed the way we look at these numbers. $1 million today does not buy what it bought 10 years ago. This is why aiming for $2 million has become the new baseline for a secure retirement. With $2 million, you can safely withdraw $80,000 a year. When you add that to your Social Security benefits, you are looking at a very comfortable life. You can travel, you can support your grandchildren, and you can handle medical costs. But more importantly, you have the power of choice. You no longer work because you have to. You work because you want to stay engaged. This level of security is what keeps you from becoming a ganhnung to your family. It is what allows you to sleep through the night regardless of what the news says. However, the path to the second million is filled with psychological traps. The biggest enemy you will face is not the market. It is your own emotions. When you have $1 million and the market drops by 10%, you see $100,000 vanish from your screen in a matter of weeks. That is a terrifying feeling for anyone approaching retirement. It feels like years of work have been erased. In these moments, many people panic and move their money to cash. They think they are protecting what they have. But in reality, they are killing the Hontuyetlan. They are stopping the compounding process just as it was hitting its peak. To reach 2 million, you must have the discipline to stay the course. You must view market volatility as the price of admission for long-term wealth. In 2026, the market will have its ups and its downs. But the history of the last 100 years shows a clear upward trend. If you can ignore the noise and stay invested, the math will take care of the rest. Another trap is what economists call lifestyle creep. As your net worth explodes, it is easy to start spending more than you should. You see your friends taking luxury cruises and buying expensive toys. You feel like you have earned the right to do the same. And while you should enjoy your life, you must be careful not to bleed your engine. Every dollar you take out of your portfolio today is $10 you lose in the future. The goal is to keep the principal balance growing until it reaches that critical mass. Once you hit 2 million, the income it generates is usually enough to cover a great lifestyle. At that point, you can spend the interest without ever touching the harvest. This is true financial independence. It is the moment the boulder reaches the top of the hill and starts rolling down the other side. Now it is moving on its own, and you are just there to guide it. If you are currently at $500,000, do not be discouraged. You are much closer than you think. You have already done the hardest part of the journey. You have built the habit of saving and the discipline of investing. You have survived the slow years where it felt like nothing was happening. Now you are entering the zone of acceleration. Between now and 2033, your financial life could change forever. The next 7 years are the most important years of your career. This is the time to stay focused and keep your expenses under control. This is the time to educate yourself on tax-efficient strategies. And it is the time to trust the process that has created wealth for generations. Remember, the typical person retires with far less than they need. They spend their golden years worrying about every penny. They are at the mercy of government policies and inflation. But you have chosen a different path. You have chosen to understand the mechanics of wealth. By focusing on the tipping points, you are setting yourself up for a different reality. You are building a fortress that will protect you and your loved ones. It does not matter if you are an engineer, a teacher, or a small business owner. The math of compounding works the same for everyone. It does not care about your background or your title. It only cares about time and consistency. As we move deeper into 2026, stay the course. Do not let the temporary headlines distract you from your permanent goal. Your second million is not a fantasy. It is a mathematical certainty if you stay invested and stay disciplined. The miracle of the next 7 years is waiting for you. All you have to do is keep the fire burning, keep your eyes on the horizon, and let the power of the markets carry you to the finish line. You have worked for your money long enough. It is finally time for your money to start working for you. This is the promise of the 7-year miracle. And it is within your reach. Take a deep breath and look at your progress. You are further along than you realize. The acceleration is just beginning. Trust the numbers. Trust the time. And soon, you will see the results you have always dreamed of. The summit is closer than it looks. Keep going. Your future self is already there, waiting to thank you.